Link Center tonight. 4.5-point favorites. The over-under set at 164.5 as Lexie Hull dials up a three.
Than any active player right now in the league.
McBride was an all-star for the 5th time in her career as Boston goes backdoor to Hull. Working on Williams. Hull gets it to go and a foul. Have a shot at the end of that game, but foul line continues to flummox Smith here this year. Here's Hull backdoor, puts on the brakes and lay it in. It's a Lexie Hull show here in the first.
Caitlin Clark didn't just change the WNBA, she saved Lexie Hull's career. That's not exaggeration. This was a 6th overall draft pick, a national champion from Stanford, someone expected to be a cornerstone of the Indiana Fever. But when the 2024 season began, Lexie Hull wasn't shining under the lights. She was sitting on the bench collecting splinters while role players leapfrogged her in the rotation. Fans began whispering, was Hull destined to become another draft bust?
The past 16 months, it feels like it's been forever, but then it also feels like it was just yesterday that I got to Indiana for the first time. It kind of happens that way where the beginning feels like it's going a little slow, and then once we get to the end, it's like, where did all the time go?
But then came the earthquake, Caitlin Clark, and with her arrival, everything changed. Lexie Hull's story flipped from forgotten to essential.
This is your 3rd season in the WNBA, and this year you got to be on the court with Caitlin Clark, and you also struck up a friendship with her. Can you talk about how important it is to have that camaraderie on and off the court?
I think it was important to get to know her off the court because I do think that, connections, getting to know people really play a part in the success of teams. And it's really awesome to get to know her as well because she's a great person, but you have all these expectations put on her, and our team has put on her, and fans have put on her. So to see her kind of be so mature in that transition, it's been really awesome. And I'm just really proud to, have her on the team, and it's been exciting.
So how does one rookie transform a teammate's entire career? Let's break it down. Lexie Hull entered the WNBA with sky-high expectations. A Stanford standout, she was tough, gritty, and polished. Drafted 6th overall in 2022, she was supposed to be a cornerstone for the Fever's rebuild. But reality was cruel. Under coach Christy Sides, Hull was barely in the rotation.
It's been a journey. I think that's a really just perfect word for it. Being at Stanford, being there for 4 years, my best 4 years, I would say, of my life. Wouldn't trade it for anything. Coming here, first time being away from family, first time playing basketball without my twin sister, so that in itself was the transition. And then also, first year, my rookie year, we won 5 games. Lost more games than I'd have in my entire life. So then you add in being alone with losses. It was really challenging. Playing in multiple places, had 2 different head coaches. That whole year was just like, what am I doing? Like, this is not that fun.
While others got minutes to prove themselves, Hull sat at the end of the bench. The Fever stumbled out to a 1-8 start, with headlines calling them disorganized, lifeless, and hopeless. Hull's situation mirrored the team's chaos. From being a star at Stanford to barely touching the floor in Indiana, she found herself in basketball purgatory. That kind of fall isn't just physical, it's mental.
In a previous interview, you talked about struggling throughout the season. So what changed, and how are you able to turn the page so that the end of the season went a lot better?
All of it comes down to trusting the process. And part of that process is making sure that the work's getting done. And at the beginning of the season, my playing time definitely looked different than it did at the end. So trusting that, I was staying ready, putting in the work so that when I did get the minutes out on the court, that I could take full advantage of them. So I was just really proud of myself for trusting the process and staying the course.
Self-doubt crept in. Fans questioned her potential. Her once bright career was dimming fast. Then Caitlin Clark entered the building. Her arrival didn't just shuffle lineups, it redefined the entire identity of the Fever. She brought electricity, competitiveness, and a new spotlight the franchise hadn't seen in years. Clark wasn't just a scorer, she was a gravitational force. Defenses collapsed on her, fans filled arenas, and the Fever suddenly mattered again. For Lexie Hull, this wasn't just a rookie joining the roster, it was a lifeline, a chance to be part of something real, something new. Hull later admitted, Clark's presence flipped my career arc. Instead of being forgotten, she had a fresh start. The transformation didn't happen under bright lights, it happened in practice. Hull revealed that once Clark arrived, scrimmages weren't just drills anymore, they were battles. Clark demanded intensity, no shortcuts, no excuses. If a play broke down, Clark insisted they fix it immediately. That accountability raised the standard for everyone. And when Hull struggled, Clark kept her confidence alive. After a missed shot, Clark would remind her, "You've got the next one." That leadership from a rookie shocked everyone, but it also kept Hull steady when doubt could have taken over. Then the changes showed up on the floor. Hull suddenly found herself open, cutting into spaces she never had before.
How much of an adjustment was it for you to play off of someone that passes like that?
I mean, I definitely got passes and tried to finish when I wasn't expecting to get the ball. So like now it's like, okay, every cut I have, every cut I make, every fast break I run, like I have a real opportunity to get the ball, which definitely like took me a second. And I think it really just took one of those to really get my head around like, oh, she's all the way down at the other end of the floor and she could still make the pass to me down at the block at this end. So, I mean, it's been awesome. And I think it's so fun to be able to know that you're not just cutting to cut, knowing that you're cutting with the possibility of like actually making a really cool play. So that makes it that much more worthwhile.
Why? Because Caitlin Clark's vision rewired the Fever's offense. She threaded impossible passes, found teammates in spots they didn't even expect to get the ball, and forced defenses to collapse on her. Hull admitted it took her time to adjust. "Every cut I make now has a chance to turn into a play. She makes passes I didn't think were possible."
Is it tougher in a way to kind of find that balance when you are playing with someone like Caitlin? Like, okay, maybe I shouldn't cut here, but she can actually make this pass anyway.
Yeah, it is. Because it's like everyone sees the game a little differently, right? So like I might see the cut and I might think she sees the cut, but also the post could be seeing that lane and trying to post up. So it's like trying to make sure that all 5 people on the court are reading the defense the same way so that we're all in sync. I think that obviously takes time and that takes like building chemistry together. So it's fun. It's a fun part of the game because you're never really finished learning or finished growing together because there's always room to get closer.
During the Olympic break, Hull's percentages climbed in practice. Her jumper clicked. By the second half of the season, she wasn't just another name on the roster, she was carving out a steady role. The numbers proved it. Hull went from afterthought to consistent contributor, hitting shots, making cuts, and becoming part of a new offensive rhythm. The career she feared was slipping away had been revived.
I think one thing that our coaches did during that break, I mean, we had a full month of practice pretty much during the Olympic break, and they would put up every day after practice our shooting percentages from 2s and 3s during drills, during scrimmages, during everything. And I think that helped me because, some people were probably like, it's so annoying, whatever, but I personally liked it because in my head, when I'd leave practice, I was like thinking about the 5 shots that I missed or the 10 shots that I missed and not thinking about that, oh, maybe I did have a good shooting day. And I would look at those percentages the next day and realize I'm shooting like 60 to 70% in practice. I'm like, that's better than in my head I had imagined. So it gave me confidence that I was performing better than I think I was perceiving my performance. So I think it all comes down to like the mental side, at least for me in that second half.
But this wasn't just about basketball. Hull also had to adjust to a new reality, fame. With Clark in Indiana, the Fever went from half-empty arenas to sold-out crowds every night. Suddenly, Lexie Hull couldn't go to the grocery store without someone stopping her for an autograph.
Now to last year, just the growth of it is insane. And I wouldn't have expected it. It's so awesome because it's been such a journey. And to play in sold-out arenas across the country, to see people with my number on their chest, I mean, it's just surreal. So I'm just really grateful for the opportunity.
Wow.
Social media became both a blessing and a burden. Praise came with every big performance, but so did criticism after losses. Hull admitted scrolling through comments sometimes hurt, but the Fever's locker room culture rebuilt around Clark's energy kept her steady. The team didn't fracture, they united. "We never turned on each other," Hull said. That unity powered their turnaround and gave players like her the confidence to rise. For fans, the difference was obvious. Indiana wasn't a joke anymore. It was one of the most compelling stories in basketball. Lexie Hull's resurgence is proof of resilience. She stayed ready, kept working, and seized the moment. But even she admits Caitlin Clark was the catalyst. "She's not just a star," Hull said. "She makes everyone better." From draft bust whispers to career revival, Hull owes her lifeline to Clark's arrival. The Indiana Fever's rise isn't just about wins, it's about culture. With Clark leading, Hull thriving, and teammates like Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell growing into stars, Indiana now looks like a powerhouse in the making. And for Lexie Hull, this revival is more than just about her minutes on the court. It's proof that sometimes the right teammate can save your career. So what do you think? Did Caitlin Clark truly save Lexie Hull's WNBA career, or was this comeback bound to happen anyway? Drop your thoughts below. And if you're still watching, type Lexie Show in the comments so we know you're one of the real fans. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a story like this one.
What the hell is going on? Like, what is going on? What the hell is going on? We are literally out here. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. It's a disaster. It's just an all-around disaster. But this is here. There was no timetable for Caitlin Clark to play, so it's impossible to say if it was impacted.
Caitlin Clark just shocked the world with her biggest announcement yet, and nobody saw this coming.
Official. It is a PR nightmare for the Indiana Fever. I gotta tell you, the Indiana Fever have got themselves a problem. They got themselves a real problem after, of course, we found out that Caitlin Clark suffered yet another injury literally 2 weeks to today ago.
The face of the WNBA, the rookie who's carried the Indiana Fever, the one who dragged sold-out crowds into arenas every single night, has decided to step away from basketball until April.
Yeah, I think when the injury happened, like, it was pretty frustrating considering, like, I knew what the coming days were going to hold for myself. But I feel like dealing with that, and then also just like trying to look at it in the most positive manner that I can, and being a part of this, and that wasn't going to be taken away from me. Is sure, maybe I'm not able to play in the games, but I can still be here and participate. I think just it all comes back to having good perspective on everything. Certainly there's frustration and a little bit of sadness.
That's more than 200 days without the league's brightest star on the court, and fans are absolutely stunned. Social media erupted instantly. Theories started flying. Some say it's about recovery from the brutal hits she's taken all season.
Now it's time to report on that August 7th ankle injury. Question before we even get into it: what were the odds that the Indiana Fever would miss the playoffs prior to this season taking place? Just a there's so much fishiness going on in this league, and you just sniff around a little bit, you can tell. What is the payout for somebody who bet, the Indiana Fever with Caitlin Clark, with a new head coach, with all these new additions? What's the payout if they just, surprise, miss the playoffs?
Others believe it's about her future in the league. A few even speculate it could be tied to endorsements or bigger opportunities beyond basketball. But here's the real question. What does Caitlin Clark's shocking announcement mean for her career, for the Fever, and for the WNBA as a whole? Let's start with the facts. Caitlin Clark just revealed she's shutting it down until April. No overseas ball, no off-season 3-on-3, no grind at all, just rest. That decision is nearly unheard of for a WNBA rookie. For years, players have relied on overseas contracts to earn money and stay in shape. But Caitlin, she's making a statement. And when you look at her workload, the choice makes sense. Clark basically played an NBA-length season in her rookie year. 81 games in just 324 days, nearly 3,000 minutes logged on the floor. She carried the Fever night after night while dragging the entire league into the spotlight. The numbers are insane. Still, fans didn't expect this. She's the biggest storyline in basketball, and now she's pressing pause. Her decision has sparked debates everywhere, from Fever diehards to league executives. Is this a career-defining move, or a risky step back at the peak of her popularity? Of course, this decision didn't come out of nowhere. Caitlin has been dealing with more than just the workload. She's been the target of brutal treatment on the court, shoved, hacked, and even tackled to the ground with referees swallowing their whistles. Fans have been screaming about the double standard all year. When other stars like Aja Wilson drive to the rim, they get the call. When Clark takes the same hit, silence. Her last game against the Connecticut Sun was a perfect example. She dropped 25 points and dished out 9 assists in a playoff war, but still absorbed foul after foul with no protection. At one point, she was straight up tackled, and shockingly, no whistle blew. Fans online summed it up. Can someone explain how that's not a foul? Oh wait, it's because it was Caitlin Clark. The controversy didn't stop there. During the same game, a heckler went after Clark non-stop until she finally pointed him out to security, and he was escorted out. It showed she wasn't just battling defenders and referees, she was fighting for respect from the crowd, too. Meanwhile, rivalries are heating up. Alyssa Thomas blasted Fever fans after the game, complaining about slurs and disrespect.
And taking care of business. What does it say to the professionality of this team that you've been able to shut out the noise?
Honestly, it's been a lot of nonsense. I think in my 11-year career, I've never experienced the racial comments from the Indiana Fever fan base. We had her face on a serious matter that happened in this world, and it's unacceptable, honestly. And there's no place for it. And we've been professional throughout the whole entire thing, but I've never been called the things that I've been called on social media, and there's no place for it. And
Angel Reese, who tackled Clark earlier in the season, now benefits from Clark's absence. With Caitlin gone, her biggest roadblock to a championship is suddenly out of the way. The league may not admit it, but everyone knows this decision shakes the playoff landscape and shifts the spotlight. And that brings us to the bigger picture. What does Caitlin Clark's shocking announcement mean for the WNBA? The truth is simple. Clark isn't just another player. She is the storyline. Every ticket sold, every spike in ratings, every viral highlight reel this season had her fingerprints all over it. When Clark played, arenas filled up. Networks cleared primetime slots. Social media exploded with logo threes and no-look passes. She single-handedly gave the WNBA the cultural moment it's been chasing for years.
Caitlin pulls left wing, the right wing, 30-plus feet. Logo crosses over, watch it. Oh my goodness! She is back! 24-18, Fever down, Caitlin down from the right wing, 30-plus feet, good again! No one else but Caitlin Clark. Sedantis, handoff, Caitlin from the logo, crosses over, watch it. Oh my goodness! Are you kidding?
The most dynamic player in the game. 9 points in 38 seconds for Caitlin. She hit all 3 threes. And not only 9 and 30, but look at the depth on these field goal attempts. She's certainly feeling it.
Now she's gone for more than 200 days. That's not just a hit for the Fever. It's a crisis for the entire league. Sponsors invested millions banking on her star power. Broadcasters built schedules around her games. Fans tuned in just to see Caitlin. And suddenly, that draw is gone. The pressure now falls on stars like Angel Reese and Aja Wilson to keep the momentum alive. But let's be honest, no one has proven they can generate the same buzz. Clark's absence leaves a hole in the WNBA's spotlight that will be nearly impossible to fill. Yet, there's another side to this. By choosing rest over relentless grind, Clark is showing maturity far beyond her years. She's prioritizing her body, her mind, and her long-term legacy. Instead of chasing short-term checks overseas, she's making the smart play, protecting her career so she can dominate for years to come. And in a league where burnout is real, that decision might be her most powerful move yet. Caitlin Clark's shocking announcement isn't just about basketball, it's about power. It proves once again that when she steps off the court, the entire WNBA feels it. Her absence will reshape ticket sales, TV ratings, sponsorships, and the balance of power across the league. But make no mistake, this isn't the end. It's the reload before the storm. When Caitlin Clark returns, the hype will be bigger than ever. Fans will count down every single one of those 200 days, waiting for her comeback. And when she finally steps back onto the floor, the WNBA will light up all over again. So, what do you think? Can the WNBA survive without Caitlin Clark for over 200 days, or will the league struggle until she returns? Let us know in the comments below. And if you're still watching, drop Clark 2025 in the chat so we know you're one of the real ones. because if you think this announcement was shocking, just wait until you see what Caitlin Clark does next.
Sophie Cunningham, the only star remaining in this toxic turd, the only recognizable face amongst a league filled with anonymous faces. The Indiana Felines announced yesterday afternoon that Sophie Cunningham was out for the rest of the season. Translation? The WNBA season is officially over.
Bria Hartley just delivered one of the dirtiest moments of the WNBA season. Sophie Cunningham collapsed to the floor, clutching her knee, and as she was being helped off in pain, cameras caught Hartley smirking.
Dirty, Bria, I would really hate to see ya in a dark alley. Dirty Bria Hartley back at it again with her shenanigans, and this time around, she had her eyes set on one Sophie the Trophy Cunningham. Sophie, get well soon. Hopefully the MRI later today shows nothing too serious.
Yes, actually smiling. Fans erupted. Was this just bad timing or a deliberate cheap shot that crossed the line? Because what happened next wasn't just about one injury. It ignited outrage across social media, drew furious reactions from Cunningham's own family, and reignited an old debate.
It looked like she was kind of pleased with what she done to Sophie Cunningham. Now, I told y'all yesterday, man, we have to put ourselves in a family-oriented situation. You have to put yourself in her parents' shoes, her sister's shoes, her cousin's shoes, and kind of, you know, be emotional about this in a sense, because what if Sophie Cunningham was your daughter, your niece, your aunt, you know, your cousin?
Is Bria Hartley the dirtiest player in the league? And should she finally be suspended? The play itself looked ordinary at first. Bria Hartley drove hard to the basket, weaving through traffic. But in that split second, her momentum crashed straight into Sophie Cunningham's right leg.
Effective down low, and she can get a lot of people in foul trouble with how physical she is.
Sun turn it over for a fifth time. Oh, and Cunningham is down. My goodness. Moment as we went to commercial. Sophie Cunningham hit the floor hard, and she is being helped off the floor, heading back to the locker room. This is the play that just occurred.
That's like she tries to slide over right there, and Hartley just kind of falls and makes collision with that lower leg. You see her immediately grab it, and she went down hard and was clearly in a...
Cunningham instantly grabbed her knee before collapsing onto the hardwood. She tried to sit up, winced in pain, then went down again, unable to rise on her own. Trainers rushed in, helping her off the court as she leaned on their shoulders, clutching her knee in visible agony.
Now, she was on the ground, she was crying, she was yelling. It definitely seemed like she was in a ton of pain. The training staff went over to her, they went to commercial break. Like, it was a real injury. This wasn't something, and Sophie's the type of player, a lot of times when she does get injured, she just gets right back up, she tries to walk it off. This was something that kept her down, and it was so hard to see. It is ironic because Bria Hartley has been in multiple scuffles this year with the Connecticut Sun. A lot of people would categorize her as a dirty player. I will say on this play in particular,
moments later, she was ruled out for the rest of the game. From the sideline, Fever head coach Stephanie White's first reaction said it all. Holy shit. It was the kind of stunned response you only give when a body clearly doesn't move the way it's supposed to. Slow motion replays didn't soften the blow either. They made it worse. Every grimace, every frame of Cunningham clutching her knee left players and fans frozen in disbelief.
Bria Hartley dives for Sophie Cunningham's knees, doesn't even try to avoid the collision, doesn't try to move out the way. Bria Hartley sees Sophie's legs and says, that's the direction I'm going to fall in. Even though she was getting defended from the right side, pushing her left, she decides to fall straight forward with a little bit of shoulder action, falling into Sophie Cunningham's knees. Bria Hartley is a dirty player. There's no other way to slice this cake.
But then came the moment that changed everything. Cameras caught Bria Hartley's face, and there it was, a grin. A smirk caught live on broadcast as Cunningham was being helped off the floor. That single image spread instantly across social media. To fans, this wasn't just bad optics, it was proof. Proof that Hartley wasn't remorseful. Proof that Sophie had been targeted. The reaction was immediate and vicious. Indiana Fever fans woke up furious, convinced they weren't just watching tough basketball anymore. They were watching their players get assaulted and now mocked for it.
And it was a lot of incredulous people, right, who was saying, oh, it's not on purpose. Oh, Kelsey Mitchell shoved her over, making all kind of excuses to say that Bria Hartley is not a dirty player. Let me tell y'all something, man. Come on in here, man. Let me tell y'all something. If it quacks like a duck, walks like a duck, eats like a duck, it's a duck, man. Come on, man. She is the dirtiest player in the WNBA right now, winning the trophy.
Sophie's sister, Lindsay, blasted the officials, accusing them of failing to protect players while punishing those who dared to speak out. Her mother, Paula, went even further, calling Hartley out of control on the court before later deleting the post.
In this post right here, and she simply retweeted what her sister said. Now, her mom did tweet out some things as well. This is what Mama Cunningham said. She said Hartley is a disgruntled player, having trouble everywhere she goes. She's playing mean and plays out of control. That's what Sophie Cunningham's mother said yesterday. And prayers up for Sophie Cunningham. I put out a post too on my X account. This person said, prayers up for Sophie's sister Lindsay and mom Paula are calling out the league for finding players for calling out poor officiating instead of protecting players, and for Bria Hartley history as one of the out of control players. They won't delete these tweets.
But the damage was done. The family's frustration reflected what Fever supporters already felt. Sophie hadn't been protected, and the league had failed her. And here's the thing. This wasn't just about one ugly fall. Hartley's reputation preceded her. Fans started pulling receipts. Earlier this year, she was caught on camera yanking Angel Reese's hair during a rebound.
Atkins, 7 to shoot. Cardoso rolls, catch. Cardoso over the top, can't get it. Reese fights for the rebound, and a foul, and this time gets a little chippy, and a shove on Nelson Adota. And listen, this arena typically will see some ringside fights, and Charles this time trying to fight through the official, points a long finger in the face of Reese.
In another game, she clashed with Rebecca Allen and got herself ejected.
The step through by Hartley. Allen is shaken up on the play. Westbell. Rivers climbs the ladder. Get into it. Oh my goodness. Sky and Sun not getting along despite the fact they share the same real estate.
She's had heated run-ins with Skylar Diggins and others, all of which painted a pattern that's hard to ignore.
Diggins has it, and the frustration foul by Bria Hartley. No reason for that at all.
Yeah, Neck and Gabby Williams holding back Sky Diggins.
That one is about as an intentional foul as you're going to get.
So when clips of her laughing as Sophie limped off the court surfaced, fans didn't see an isolated moment. They saw confirmation. A dirty player, once again crossing the line. Social media branded her the dirtiest player in the WNBA.
There's no other way to explain what we've seen from Bria Hartley so far this season. Grabbing Angel Reese's ponytail, what are we, in preschool? Body checking Skylar Diggins in the open court. What are we doing? Clawing at Rebecca Allen, leaving marks on her shoulder, leaving blood dripping down from her hand. And now what do? Now you take a dive towards Sophie Cunningham's knees. Bria Hartley, you know how much of the benefit of the doubt you deserve in this case? The answer is 0. You deserve 0 benefit of the doubt. Based on your previous action, your reputation precedes you. Based on your previous actions, I need to assume all of these plays that you take place in are dirty plays, because that's the kind of player you are.
Commentators echoed the sentiment, pointing out that Hartley's highlight reel of cheap shots has been growing and rarely punished. This time, many insisted the league had to act. An investigation, fines, even a suspension. Something had to happen. The outrage only grew because the officials never even reviewed the play. Not a single stoppage. No flagrant, no technical, nothing. The game continued as if nothing had happened. For Fever fans, that decision wasn't just a missed call, it was a betrayal. They believed the league was turning a blind eye to dangerous play, leaving stars like Cunningham exposed. And here's where it escalates. The Fever were already stretched thin. Caitlin Clark was sidelined with a groin issue. Ari McDonald and Sydney Coulson were both out for the year. Losing Sophie Cunningham wasn't just another injury. It was another gaping hole in an already fragile roster. On top of her scoring and toughness, Sophie's leadership had kept the team together. Without her, Indiana's season looked ready to collapse. But if the injury and the officiating controversy weren't enough, Hartley's smirk was the tipping point. That grin became the face of the firestorm. It turned suspicion into certainty, debate into outrage. Suddenly, this wasn't about one reckless collision, it was about accountability. Fans weren't just asking whether Hartley deserved discipline, they were demanding it. And they weren't whispering anymore, they were shouting, "Suspend her!" By the end of the night, Bria Hartley had become the villain of the WNBA. That grin, frozen in screenshots and replayed endlessly, defined the story. Cunningham out with a knee injury, referees accused of turning a blind eye, and Hartley walking away with a smirk. The calls for suspension only grew louder. Analysts connected the dots, the hair pulling, the reckless scuffles, the dirty collisions. This wasn't a one-off mistake, this was a pattern. And if the league ignored it again, fans feared it would send a dangerous message that you could play dirty without consequence. But here's where the story flipped. What should have been a death sentence for Indiana's season turned into one of the most improbable comebacks in franchise history. Down by 21 points in the third quarter, with Cunningham gone and Clark unavailable, the Fever somehow found another gear. Kelsey Mitchell erupted for a career-high 38 points, including 34 in the second half and overtime. She scored Indiana's first 10 points in the extra period, bearing back-to-back threes that left the Suns stunned. Aaliyah Boston anchored the front court with a monster double-double. Odyssey Sims carved up the defense with 19 points and 7 assists, and Lexie Hull delivered the dagger 3 in overtime. When the final buzzer sounded, Indiana had completed the largest comeback in franchise history, stunning Connecticut 99-93. Out of one of the ugliest moments of the WNBA season came one of the greatest turnarounds. Inside the locker room, Coach Stephanie White summed it up best. "We will never be counted out."
But we fight, live that resilience every day, and we will accomplish what we want to accomplish.
Caitlin Clark, watching from afar, echoed the pride with a simple post. "Battled, battled, battled." And Sophie Cunningham herself tweeted 3 words that captured the night. Kelsey freaking Mitchell. The controversy isn't over. Hartley's smirk, the dirty play, and the league's lack of response still hang over everything. The question remains, should she be suspended? And how should the WNBA protect its stars from moments like this? If you're still watching, drop "suspended" in the comments to let us know where you stand. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the conversation, because this story is far from finished.